Okay. Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever it is you are joining us from, thank you so much for taking time to join us. This is Living LTV live with me, Dr. Gbenga Adebayo. And it's a pleasure to come your way today. Thank you so much for taking time, right? Yeah, because it's hard to believe um, we're in the second month or 2023. Second month. I just looked at it. Wow. You don't mean it. This year is galloping. I thought last year was fast. It seems this year is galloping. It's really running. And so it's a joy, it's a pleasure to come your way at this time. And today we are taking a look at something really interesting. Something uh, I think is important. And those are seven common things that can harm you, they can kill you suddenly. Seven very important things that can kill suddenly. If we are not careful, those things can harm you. If this is your very first time of joining us, thank you so much. Like I said at the beginning, I'm grateful. I'd like you to please subscribe to this channel, share this video. And I'm going to take just a moment to do that right now. I'm going to share this with friends so that they can know that we are live. Uh, you may be helping someone sharing these very important things I want to share today. So let me just quickly take some time to tell friends that we are live, right? Okay, let's take it here. Mhm. And we are live. Okay. 7 deadly things that can harm you, right? Okay, and there we go. Now, these seven things are really things that are all over the place. They are things that are all around you. And if you are not careful, they can harm you. And indeed, they have harmed so many people. I got an inspiration for this particular edition of the show, reading a report, and the report has been coming about how a young man, young child, healthy teenager just suddenly died doing something that people do every day. A lot of people do it every day and they get away with it. And you won't know that that singular action can harm you, that it can kill you. It can kill. I pray it doesn't kill you, right? But it can kill. So let's run down through seven things. I have the list is longer than seven, so maybe we may do this again next week, who knows, or some other time. But let's just run through some of the things that I've identified that are your own. That if you don't take care, if you don't take care of them, if you are not careful with them, they can harm you. The very first thing I want to talk about is what killed that young man and has killed several people. And what is that? Deodorant. Yeah, sprays, air sprays. aerosol sprays, right? Fragrance sprays. You see some people when they spray these things and they just put it all over the room, all over the house, or some people just bathe in a fragrance spray and they are all an aerosol spray. Well, it's good to smell nice. It's if you know one of the good things about life is that it's good to put yourself, make sure you smell nice. Smells are powerful. Smells are important. Like I was saying to some people recently, you need to put yourself in a position that people can talk to you, because one of the ways you will not know that your mouth is smelling unless somebody says to you that your mouth is smelling. So you need to put yourself in a place, in a position where people can be frank with you and tell you, bros, sis, you like say your mouth is smelly. Yeah? And beyond that, also about body spray. So, and you don't even need to have a foul smell for you to benefit from using a body spray. Sprays, it can be calming. We know the power of pheromones. Smells are powerful, right? However, having too high concentration of aerosols have been known to kill people, especially young people, right? So that you spray, just spray. I don't know what's your favorite brand of deodorant spray or air freshener. You just spray it and you can smell it. It enters you. It damages. It can damage the app. And so some young, healthy people have suddenly dropped dead after consuming inhaling copious amounts of airspray, some of them over a long period of time, right? Apparently healthy people, they just drop dead. Their heart just stops working. And it's because of substances that you have in aerosol. What makes aerosols to be aerosols? Those substances, they can accumulate in the body and they can harm you. Does it mean you should stop using deodorant spray? Certainly not. What it means is that you should be careful around it, especially for young people, right? Young people, we don't want to expose young people to aerosol sprays. You don't want to be giving your kids and then you buy those things, especially if they use it and then they just so some people just spray it, they breathe it in because they like the smell. It smells like flour, it smells like powder, it smells like strawberries, and then but that smell is not all what they are taking in. They are taking in the aerosol itself, active substances in the aerosol that can harm them, right? So please, let's be careful with air fresheners, with the sprays, any aerosol, it can kill, right? Do we get that? So the first thing I want to talk about that you have around you that can harm, especially young people, is aerosol are aerosols, right? Right? There's no particular brand, just what is inside them can harm and they can kill. So let's be careful with aerosol. Number two thing that can kill you that you have at home is what? Something that you cannot live without. Food. Food, right? And even for when we say food, I'm talking about choking, right? A lot of people die every year from choking. Not too many people from just choking on food, eating and the food entering their airway and a passed on. And this is particularly important. Some things are more deadly than others, especially for children. But as I say this, I just the picture comes to my head. In med school those days, we had organ parts in bottles, in formalin bottles, just to show in pathology class. One of the pathology bottles that we have is the specimen from the lung of a baby, and it was showing what killed the baby. Do you know what was there? Granite. One single piece of nut, of groundnut, killed that baby. One single piece of ground lodged in the throat and the baby died. And it's not just babies that die from these tiny things, right? Food, even adults can choke. Food gets into your airway. There are things when we talk about resuscitation and people dying and trying to keep people alive. Three things we talk about is airway, ABC, well, ABC, airway, breathing, and circulation, right? Because those are the things that keep people alive. If you stop breathing, right? Unless you are really trained, you have a super long, some people dive underwater and they are there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or people even do extreme diving, free diving, and with sand miners, and they're underwater for long. If you're not one of those people, and you're just like a regular guy, 3 minutes, you can't survive without air for longer than 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, brain damage starts to occur. The brain starts to because so something block your airway and you don't know what to do. So everybody needs to learn that maneuver where you can push up on the sternum, just push up and force anything that is that's lodged in the area to dislodge. You can even learn to do it yourself. There's a way you can push your sternum against a table, against something, the hard surface, because if food, we need food, right? You have to eat. If you don't eat, you die. After a certain, 40 days, you probably will go, right? So you need food. However, as important as food is, if you don't, if it passes the wrong way, gets into the airway, it can kill. So what do you do about food? Eat slowly. Eat, eat with deliberation, and keep all these small, small pieces of this any small, small thing away from children so that they don't put it in their mouth and it gets stuck in their airway. I've never forgotten, I can't remember all the other bits of samples that I saw in my med school pathology lab, but I've never forgotten that image because it just looks so. Just one single piece of granite in the throat of the child. So they had cut it out, and that granite was there, preserved there, to show that that was what killed the baby, what killed the child. So let's be careful. Beads, right? All these beads. A child may just be playing, put it in the mouth, swallows it. If it goes into the intestine, so that might not be a problem. You pass it out through the feces, but it gets into the throat, blocks the airway. You need to learn how to force it out. It makes maneuver, and if you don't do it quickly, person stop breathing, goes cardiac arrest, and then the person dies. So food can kill. Even tens of people die every year from eating hot dogs. Hot dog, food just gets stuck in your throat. It just looks like play, ooh, 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 pull, and the person is dead. Right? So food can kill. You must learn that maneuver to get anything stuck in the throat to be dislodged so that the person can breathe. Right? Very, very important. What other thing is important that very common? I was somewhere recently, they were launching something, a facility, and I got there, and the light bulbs in my head went off. What was the problem? The tiles in that place can kill. Smooth tiles, slippery tiles have killed people. I have a friend that I think in fact we did a video about that. We talk about dangerous places, right? And one of the most dangerous places that people have in their home is the bedroom. And one of the reasons why that makes one of the reasons why the bedroom is dangerous is slips and falls. Slip and falls. God knows how many people die every year as a result of slips and trips and falls. I don't want to talk about trips. I'm not talking about trips now. But slips, right? And falls on slippery tiles. And those tiles, massive, beautiful, fantastic tiles, but they are not meant for high transit areas, especially when they are wet. So it's best to just avoid very slippery, very smooth tiles and use tiles that have some sort of friction. It's best to, especially in high transit areas. So you can have some decorative places, but it's important for everyone to realize that a slippery tile, a fall in the bedroom, hit your head, head injury. And some people even don't die immediately. They can fall, hit their head, and then they have a slow leaking hematoma. The blood is slowly leaking, and the person just suddenly just goes into coma. Right, and then you do a CT scan, we now see that there's blood. You need to evacuate that blood, and the person can recover. And we have fantastic results, great people that are doing great work along that line. But a lot of people, I know someone that's what killed him. A fine young man, much younger than I am, just had an injury. I don't know where it was. Not particularly town. He hit his head somewhere, and he was fine. A week, 2 weeks later, he just suddenly collapsed. And headache, I have this headache, I have this headache, this head is aching me. And he never, he didn't survive it. He died. Even a young wife died. Right? So, tiles, you are building a house. Uh, be mindful of the tiles that you buy and you put in your bedroom. Don't go use your own hand, go buy things and we will give you for trouble. You just put time, it smooth, so, and then you wash it, you put in your bedroom. You need to put railings. We have some of the video. You need to check out that video about the dangerous places. Tiles, smooth tiles, they are deadly. They are deadly. So be careful. So if you are in high transit areas, be careful of the tiles that you put. Have things that can help with grip, staircase, bedroom, have hand railings. You're building a house, you're an elderly person, not just put hand railings around them. There are grips, friction grips in your bedroom tub. That's another thing that can kill you. So I'll just put it together. Right, that your tub, put strips there that will help you uh, maintain some friction. I won't add this one as I'll just put it together with the tiles, that slippers, flip flop thing they give people. That slippers, when you have used it, it has become so flat, that becomes so no smooth, no friction anymore. A lot of people die every year as a result of slips from flip flop, that bedroom slippers on a smooth tile, or even on a tile that is not so smooth, ground that is not so, but if it doesn't have friction, boom, you just slip, head injury, and go to the great beyond. So, yeah, under that smooth tile one, I think I've mentioned so many things, right? So let's list the things that we have said so far. We said deodorant. If you're just joining us, be careful with deodorant, especially for young people, right? It can be problem. Food, so food can be a problem, and thirdly now under that I've made it ABC, right? Smooth tiles, bedroom, flip flops, because of falls. A lot of people fall down, they die, have head injuries, and they never recover. Right? The fourth thing I like to say that can kill, very common thing, and this one now is a medicine, right? People use it a lot, right? People use it a lot. And what is that medicine? It is acetaminophen, right? So those are the paracetamols and all the various brands that you have. Pain relief is fantastic, right? It's a great thing. If you have pain, you pop. People just pop tablets. But you need to know that The safety range. Different drugs have different safety ranges. There are some medicines, the safety range is very wide. Right? So if you are meant to use one and you use four, it's bad though. But your body will somehow stretch and stress your liver. You somehow find a way to cope because the safety range is wide. But there are some medicine, if you're meant to use one and you use two, you're in trouble. Oh. Right? That's just because the safety range for that drug, the lethal dose range, right? The LDF, I'm not use all the terms we use. The lethal dose for that drug is is narrow. Paracetamol has a narrow beyond not has a narrow safety range. Has a narrow safety range before it starts to cause damage, right? It's an enzyme inducer, causes a lot of things to happen in the liver. So be careful about popping paracetamol. Some people just pop it, pop. They eat it, use it, use paracetamol, have small headache, this. And can cause liver toxicity, and it does cause liver toxicity, and it does kill people. Be careful with it. Be careful with paracetamol. Don't just be popping it. Just be popping paracetamol tablet. Right? It is risky. So use paracetamol. The standard dose of acetaminophen is 2 tablets, right? 1 gram for an adult now, right? 2 tablets 3 times daily, and you don't get relief. It's an over-the-counter medicine. That's why it's so dangerous because anybody can you can just approach anybody and pass and buy paracetamol. So if the thing for over-the-counter medicines is if you don't get relief, what you go do? You go see your doctor. Yeah, you go talk to your doctor. You go see your doctor and ask, I've used this for 2, 3 days and I'm not getting better. Please, what do I do? And by all means, please don't overdose. Don't use more than you are meant to use. Don't just pop, and get into trouble, right? That medicine is dangerous and can kill, right? It's dangerous can kill. The next thing I like to mention that's common, people do it. That thing that love feed people in on the fridge in their homes. They beautify it with magnets, right? Small magnets, and you put those magnets there, look lovely, look nice, different notes. I say, okay, so there are some people's houses I enjoy looking at all the things that they place on their feed, the messages, it just makes it look colorful. But those small magnets, you need to be careful with them. They can kill. If a child should swallow the magnet has the high chance of breaking through the linings of the intestines and just cause massive bleeding, cause massive problems. So it's not that it has entered the airway. It goes, you swallowed it, goes to your stomach, intestines. It has to wreak out havoc. It can perforate, cause all kinds of terrible things. Right? Be careful with them. Especially with kids. It's a lot of things that we are saying. Young people, children, elderly, let's be careful. Be careful with magnet. Don't play with magnet. Don't put magnet in your mouth. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? It can kill. Right? What other thing can we talk about that we have commonly around us that can cause problem and can kill? Guess to try one of them. Toothpaste. Toothpaste. Toothpaste can kill you. Toothpaste contains fluoride. A little toothpaste is important to brush your mouth. I mean, it's fantastic. If you don't brush your mouth, like I said, your mou- your dental hygiene and dental hygiene is critical. We don't talk enough about dental hygiene. Dental hygiene is important not just for oral health. It's critical also for general health, even cardiac health. heart health. If you don't take care of your mouth, you are more likely to have heart attack. Yeah, yeah. The germs in your mouth, the things that they secrete, they can escape into the bloodstream, cause all kinds of damage to the heart. So oral health is critical. So it's important for you to brush your mouth. Don't leave this session and say, Akoko don't like to dey brush my mouth before. When we chop without brushing, the food is sweet. So people have all kinds of stuff like that. Important, and it's important to brush your mouth with a fluoride containing toothpaste because it gives strong teeth. Just it's critical for dental health. Can be, however, too much of a good thing. Those days as kids, I know people that use toothpaste to eat bread. They use it as jam, right? Yeah, that's inviting. And some people do that. You just use toothpaste, just swallow, lick it is nice, nice. You can have hyperfluorosis and just drop dead, right? It can happen. So what the thing to do, stick to the dental recommendation of how to use toothpaste, right? Brush twice daily in the morning, in the evening time. I know that people, a lot of people have that, find that very difficult to do. Just brush your mouth in the morning and that's it. Okay, but don't exceed. The dental recommendation is to brush your mouth twice daily in the morning and before you go to bed. So it's important that you do not overdose on fluoride toothpaste because it may harm you. It may harm you. So one final thing I'd say about one very common thing today. So if you have questions, please, as is our custom, please drop all your questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer your questions. One common thing that people do in this environment that kills and harm, I'm making this one because this is local, and it happens all over the place too, is to put toxic substances in familiar bottles, right? So somebody puts petrol in in a bottle water, right? In the used container, in the empty container of a bottled water. Growing up, it was very common to see people put kerosene, right, in a soft drink bottle, but they used it to sell it, right? And so you put the kerosene in the green bottle of one of the soft drinks around, and it's clear fluid. And so a lot of kids swallow, drink kerosene, and then of course they have burns, they have destruction, esophagus, and then they can actually die. So putting the wrong thing in a bottle that is not labeled is an invitation for trouble. It's an invitation for trouble. And even at the funny on the funny spectrum, I don't know if it has happened to you that you put do you have similar jars for salt and sugar. So in the bid to drink something that needs sugar, some people eat salt and they put salt because the jars were not properly labeled. So that's something common around. People just put the wrong thing in another bottle and do not label it. Poisoning, a lot of poison. People have gotten poisoned, and some sadly have lost their lives because of that. Kerosene in the wrong bottle, fuel, petrol in the wrong container, in the white container that looks like water, and someone just drinks it and pour, and it runs into trouble, right? Okay, so I think I've said more than 7 things. I've said probably 8, 9, 10 things that are very common around. right? And the onus is upon you and I to be careful and pay attention to these things. Some of them may have shocked you, some of them are intuitive, and some you may not have known before now. But whatever it is, at least encourage every one of us to do the right things, stay alive, and protect our health. Right? Our 30 minutes is up. I'd like to ask if there are any questions. If you have any question, please go ahead and ask. But I've not seen any question in the chat section, so I assume that all that I've said is clear. And I thank everyone that has taken time today to join us. Until we come again next week, please stay healthy, stay well. It is well with you. Thank you, and God bless you. As the area doctor they say, life it no get duplicate. God bless you.